Good morning, yellow spectral warriors. How are you doing? How are you doing? I hope you're all doing better than I was doing yesterday. What a journey. And as anticipated, the light is gradually returning. It started about 8:30 last night that I could feel like, okay, this heavy weights are lifting. I have to gather myself a little bit here because silly me, I dispersed my focus just a teeny little bit just now. From waking up to now, yesterday I was already very excited and starting to podcast in my head. I'm like, no, stop it. Now is the time to be now and not to mentally rehearse what you're going to say tomorrow. That's totally nonsense. And just now I did look into a little bit of information because I thought, it's so nice to weave it together, and that can be very useful or can be very nice to do, but it really did take me out of my internal flow. And if I really take a hard look at why I do that, one of the elements, not all of them, but one of them is distrust, doubt. And hasn't that been my companion for this wave spell? But not all things are not good. Like, how can I say that? Every cloud has a silver lining, so every situation always offers a gift, at least one. And as I looked into the information, the first thing I came upon for the wave spell was the question to the lunar tone, the second tone. What is my relationship with my obstacles, or something like that? And I was like, oh, yeah. My relationship with my obstacles. And in this wave spell, it's blue hand. Knowing, accomplishing, healing. And the doing of things and the not doing of things. In light of, this is the challenge. When it comes to dying, there isn't much we can do. When it comes to living, there may be a lot we can do. So the surrendering, if I try to birth the child before it's ready, I'm forcing a doing, I'm forcing matters. And this wave spell's all about surrender. And somehow that was not flowing for me, really. For part of it, it did for part of it, but I don't know anyone who's listened in more frequently. I'm just going to repeat it because not likely. Welcome to any new subscribers. I'm surprised. Why are there new subscribers? Who are you? Who comes here to listen? Anyhow, hearty welcome. Since the middle of 23, I think, I should know this date because my life changed with the first Maya sign reading I received from Ron. the great when it comes to Maya readings, as far as I'm concerned. My midwife changed my life completely. And ever since then, I've been living ever more intensely with the dream spell on a daily. I've spent at least 2 spins, which is a full soaking spin, 260 days, journaling profusely, which is always very nice to make reference. Like, I checked up, is my other world bridger wave spells always difficult for me? And it seems like they're not, but this one was. Anyhow, I learned through this surfing, this soaking. For me, I don't know if I learned or if simply this is part of its transformation power or the tool for transformation that it is in my life. I can go down, I can go into a depression or into, like, let's call it that. Let's not the clinical depression where for weeks, months, years on end you can't lift yourself out of bed, but into a depressed phase where my energy and my motivation and everything is really quite like heavy. It usually doesn't last longer than 3 days. Because as I go into the archetypes, the playing field changes. New information comes, new inspiration comes. So this world bridger, this release, funnily enough, in this, we're in the northern castle of going down, descendants. The second castle. There are 260 days in a spin, in this type of creation cycle, like a 9-month period. And there are 5 52-day cycle periods. We're in the second one now. Each of the 52 days periods is called a castle, and it consists of 4 wave spells. A wave spell is a 13-day period where the 13 tones repeat. From 1 to 13. We're on tone 11 today. And 11 is a dissolver. Dissolve, liberate, and what was the other word? I often say this also. Each tone in each seal has 3 words attached to it, 3 key words. It's not an awful lot for someone who's been in it for all this time. I should know them all off backwards, and part of me does. But a part of me forgets, at least usually one of the words. Not usually, but fairly frequently. And I've completely reconciled with that, because whatever does come to mind, whichever words come to mind, they are the ones I'm working with. I take it as that's enough. And every now and then I want to know, like, what is that other word I've forgotten? And when I look it up, it's always like this enormous joy factor that comes in as remembrance. So that's the yellow warrior. So if we're looking across the whole wave spell, white world bridger, death, surrender, opportunity, equalizing. And then the lunar tone, knowing, healing, accomplishing. I totally ran into my resistance patterns and the imbalance between, certain imbalances. To figure out which ones they are, I can look at the rhythmic tone. In this case is the blue monkey, magic, play, illusion. The blue monkey represents the inner child. I've done some inner child work in this wave spell, but I realized something else. First of all, I'm perfectly overloaded with information. I've inundated myself with a lot of information, a lot of quantum physics stuff, which I absolutely adore and I love. But what I do, and this is where the rhythmic blue monkey in my case is a wee bit out of balance, is that I don't know when to stop. I am 95% in charge of my own time, which is great, but it's really a challenge also. So for example, I don't do like weekend, I don't do sabbatical, and we are taught it's very important. The world was created in 6 days. On the 7th day, God rested. So I create my world in 7 days and then some. And it doesn't serve me because I don't notice, like eating something that I love and then I don't know when to stop eating. It's not an issue I have, but I know that that can happen. Not knowing when to stop playing, not knowing when to stop pleasure, or not knowing when to stop working, not knowing when to stop, not feeling the rhythm. And when it comes to burnout, whether we've done it ourselves, that we ran and should have stopped ourselves, and ultimately who is supposed to stop us? Even if we're in a job where the demands are so high, it's still us who have to be aware this is overstepping my boundaries. And I should definitely do, well, the Tzolk'in is a great example. 13 days. I don't have to do the 7th free day, but I have to do one of 13. At least, like completely break patterns, or take 1 day in 13 a total information fast. Take 1 day in 13 where I don't go into any of my, I should do this, I should do that. I really don't. I don't do anything. I take a free day. Like, I don't plan anything and I don't do anything and I just roll with the flow. And certain things are not allowed. That would be an intention to set. We have a little bit of magnet present today if we want to dissect the 11th tone. So we have it, wait, too fast. Too fast. I've spoken a bit about the challenge of the blue hand in this wave spell. When I'm doing all the time and I end up not doing anything, I'm not doing the right things, or I'm not doing them in balance, I'm not doing them in the right order, or I'm getting stuck in routine, I'm doing them too much in the order. It's good for the brain to leave the routine now and then. And this knowing thing, like quantum physics is great, but there comes a point where my system starts to shut down. Like, do I exist or don't I exist? For a while that's fun to play with, but then at some point it's like, wait a minute. And that's not even the problem, or the issue, but the issue is, for me, free will, for example, or what was it? Am I not supposed to talk about it? Is that why it's gone? Well, it's gone for the moment. But another one is that very often these physicists, I mean, first of all, they're like trying to explain something on a certain level that from our perspective is just so obvious. It's like, how can you what? And then they're leaving out. They're trying by all means. It's like trying to avoid consciousness, the hard problem of whatever consciousness. They can't, the brain doesn't produce it, matter doesn't produce it. Where is it produced? Where does it sit? And some are looking for it, some are doing everything to try to find that it doesn't exist, but it just doesn't add up. And at some point, this endless analysis and this endless, it's like my own analysis, this endless beating around, it's just, how do you, without consciousness, without love, without love, and they don't incorporate love, a biased being, that's still the reductionist point of view that wants to reduce everything to the material, to the mathematical, to the whatever, and you're leaving out, and then it's like, yeah, but despite everything there's that, and we can't explain that, and it's like, but that you're looking for the cause, you're trying to explain the causes and effect. But each cause is also, I mean, really, we are like scratching so deep, we end up, we're looking for ourselves ultimately. Always. And avoiding myself and looking for myself, it's tricky. But in any case, this is just me babbling. I don't know nothing. These people are severely brilliant, but like someone with only 4 out of 5 senses working, they may be so deeply brilliant in the 4 senses that are working more than the rest of us who have all 5 senses working because of the compensation. But the missing the something missing is sometimes not acknowledged. In any case, practical. So for me, this wave spell has been like a journey into Hades, into the barrels of my own bedrock, and trying to extract a root of a weed that is just growing through this thing that has calcified and all the rest of that. And if I'm going in here again, I'm going right there again. It's like, no, I should not. I can see, like, just too much obsession on a rhythmic monkey. I need to play and distract myself with regularity and with some yellow human wisdom. And my wisdom, I want to berate myself and say I really fell short because I fell into this hole. But then I'm also saying it's a mistake that happens, and I can't do that. I will not do that. I need to let compassion be the guide here and look at the issues with compassion. The white dog is the heart of opportunity, of change. If I'm trying to change something, the world bridger isn't just death, but it's change. It's preparing us for the kind of stormy transformation that's coming, and accepting change that is irreversible. There are different kinds of change, and irreversible change, I mean acceptance, right? So the white dog on tone 5 and the receptivity on tone 9, the solar receiving, being receptive to the love of the divine, to the love of the sun, to this nurturing energy. All of life is nurtured by the sun. So to be receptive to the sun's nurturing and heading for cosmic truth. What is true, always something remains. That's the truth. And to assume complete annihilation, which in many aspects, in many parts of the Western world, death is like an annihilation. It's like the end of me. That still is a program running in it runs in somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but that program exists and I feel it. I don't really want to identify it, but it's around, and it causes, it can cause like if I'm up and about, that whether I exist or not, whether I exist after I don't exist, or whether I continue to existing, or what, it cuts no ice anymore. But in certain modalities it does. And to certain aspects of me, it matters clearly. And to meet those aspects with compassion. But that's not even the crux here. I'm avoiding myself again. And I'm not being too theoretical. And I can't not be too I don't know if I can be, but I'm talking here. So I have to apply I need an application for the truth. And it involves doing, meeting my challenges through doing in this particular case. If I, when you, in a depression, one of the medicines for depression is do something good for someone else, help someone else, be of benefit to someone else. It's a medicine for the doldrums, a medicine for broken heart, go fall in love. When I get into a depression, the medicine is, I have to know what that medicine is. Sometimes it's like, go sleep. You have a severe sleep deficit and you're not noticing it. You've spent too long in beta brain and you haven't noticed it. Shut down, like really shut down. You're not doing your dying. You're not doing your release, your surrender. You're not giving your brain a chance to cleanse. The moon, the flow, self-existing moon, the cleansing processes in the body, fluid drainage, whatever, in the brain, everywhere. It's natural and it's necessary and it happens by itself. But if I don't give myself the downtime, even if I'm not doing much, but I'm constantly, for example, in information, I'm not in balance. It'd be better I go take a jog or a walk and shut the bloody internet off. Don't listen to yet another clip. Just get those balances right. Go sleep. Yeah, cook a meal, invite someone over, spend social time. Sleep is a great healer. Have I said that already? Sleep, by the way. So, so new opportunity arises, new energy. My energy storehouses need to be filled up if they're not, and I don't notice it. And I keep running like a child. We see this in children when they are very tired and they overstep that certain point where they maybe should have gone to rest or sleep. They get overactive. They really get very much overactive. And I go into that mode and I don't notice it. And then I don't know how to stop myself until I burn out. And then I want to resist. Then my mind wants to come in and say, this shouldn't be, there isn't a reason, what's going on? And I think I understand anything, but I don't understand anything. And that part of my mind can't understand or can't accept that it doesn't understand anything. I am waffling. Maybe you relate. Yellow Warrior, we're letting go of the wave spell. We're preparing to let go of the wave spell. We're letting go of the experiences. Hopefully I've learned something for myself. And sometimes it's a good idea, like look back, get your harvest. And sometimes it's good to just say, let it be, let it ingest itself, like when we fall asleep. We can just let everything go and go to sleep. The warrior is attached to the blue night, dream time. And falling asleep is very much a little bit like dying. I nearly listened to a clip yesterday out there. I don't know, Feynman or Penrose or whoever. When you sleep, you stop existing. It's like, oh yeah, give it to me. Like, all right, we can live with that because we get reborn all the time. So to surrender everything and trust that whoever we are temporarily, wave and ocean, always contextually temporarily, we can let it go. It can change. And we can heal. We can let go of the limitations. And sometimes it's an active process, and sometimes it's a passive process. Sometimes we can struggle with stuff for years, lifetimes. And healing comes when we give up trying to heal it. When it's just like, fuck this shit, I give up. If I have to live with this for the rest of eternity, then so be it. I'm so tired of the struggle. That point is often the release. When we've built an identity out of struggling, an identity out of the fight, an identity out of being a warrior, when we release and say, I just let it go. And then we release ourselves into freedom. We synchronize. Tomorrow, the warrior is always part of the synchronization process. Or where we're out of sync. Or where we need to find a new synchronization. What have I been synchronizing with in this wave spell? What resistance? Where do I think I gotta do it all myself? Where do I forget spirit is here? Where do I forget I'm not alone? Where am I too impatient? I've asked the question, where's the answer? It's not here, it's not coming. Where do I not have the space for myself to wait? Where have I asked for healing or even initiated it, and instead of giving it the time and space, I again obsess about, it isn't healed yet, it isn't healed yet, it's still here, it's still here, it's still here, it's still here. And then I'm not letting go. I'm focusing on something incessantly and I'm not allowing it to change. I keep looking at the problem. Or where is an old pain asking to be felt for real? Where has it not been integrated? Where has it not really been acknowledged? Where is the symptom, the voice of a part of us that is not being heard or has not been heard or not acknowledged, not fully? Maybe it is the voice we've heard so many times and we dismiss it because like it can't be that because I've been on that forever, haven't I? And yet not. Maybe not truly. Maybe not truly. And the cosmic mirror in 2 days' time, guided by spirit, by wind, by breath, by communication, listening, maybe the truth has not been heard. Maybe the truth is now being heard. And I can really see, even as I sit here, the structures where I am not in clarity and what those structures look like, what they feel like, what they do with me. And it's very nice to see that I can gradually planetary eagle, I can put a little bit of distance between myself and those patterns and I can start to see them. They are less threatening because my perfectionist will not allow me to see them. because that would mean acknowledging I'm not perfect. Which, yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? It's like this is not a rational thought. It's not like any perfectionist thinks they're perfect. The perfectionism is the terrible prison. The child is not free. Control issues. Yeah, I spoke to my aunt yesterday. We had a family brunch. It was very lovely. I love my family. It's really nice to see them. It's a very, very beautiful space for me to be with them yesterday. Totally surrendered. I was like, I'm not taking this backpack with me. I was just very present. And I've been practicing this presence now actively in a different way from before in my life. And the results are so beautiful. Just really receptive to the moment. I don't override. I'm very present. I don't have my own story or agenda. I don't have my own excitement floating around anymore. I don't have resistance. It was a very, very, very lovely space. I have a very harmonious family this side of the world. Anyhow, my aunt spoke with some passion about visiting Chile or Argentina. And she doesn't travel. She doesn't travel at all. She's like, and she said, I mean, I was very surprised to hear if I didn't know her, I would think, yeah, she's preparing to go there. But she can't go anywhere where she can't plan everything, doesn't know what to expect. She cannot leave her comfort zone. She knows that. And she can't plan anything. She cannot be spontaneous, never, because everything has to be planned. So, and she said that. And it's like, yeah, you have learned somewhere that to be hurt by something that surprised you, and you've learned your internal reward system has learned that controlling, and you needing to control, not someone else, you can't surrender. You've learned, your reward system has learned it works when I take care of everything. Because, I don't know, someone else planned something and it went wrong, or something didn't work out, and then I get upset. Then I can't cope with being upset. And instead of just accepting the situation, working with it, I totally relate to this, by the way. It's so good to learn to be present, and when things are not going according to plan, to go with the things according to how they are. It's a beautiful saying is it Roosevelt who said it? I find planning indispensable, but plans useless. I'm going to draw that up. I prepare for battle. I have plans used. I have always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Who said it? Plans are worthless, but planning is everything. In preparing for battle, I have always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. Eisenhower. I don't know if he is the first one to have said that, but he's quoted as having said it. So, plans are useless, but planning is everything. Now my mind says, I want to really deep dive into that. I'm not going to do that. Yellow warrior, questioning everything. So the warrior is the antipode to the white world bridger, the furthest away from itself. So it's also the antipode is the one who tells us that we're out of balance, how we're out of balance, what's out of balance. So in this case, perfect case in point, I was questioning too much, not fearless. I dropped into fear somewhere, must have, because that's the root cause of everything. Not letting go out of fear, something, even if it isn't a present fear, if it isn't a present day thing, it can be conditioning, which I may be unconscious of. But a lot of conditioning is conditioned through fear. You can condition through reward, you can condition through fear, or a combination of both. And yeah, so the warrior wasn't activating properly to let the processes of surrender, of release, of opportunity. Another thing of this thing is that, and this is also the challenge of the blue hand, is not completing things, or spiritual bypassing is one of them as well. Not completing things, and that is occasionally an issue in my life and cause of depression. When I'm not sure, am I in my flow? Should I be doing this? Is this my, and if I'm not doing it, does that mean that's my flow? Does that mean it's avoidance? If I now force matters, am I forcing matters basically? Or is it, that is actually the little bit of discipline that's needed, and that can get me really out of balance. When the flow, the self-existing moon, is not flowing, and I can't quite, sometimes, and then I can't understand why. And then the warrior should come in and ask, what's going on here? Or should the monkey play? Should the wizard be receptive? Do we need more magic? And actually, I kind of know my answers, but when I get into that space where I don't know the answers, then also when the warrior doesn't work and I don't understand, I can ask, but I can not need to request the answer now. It all just goes pear-shaped, and I just went right through that. And completing things, follow through, not just play and not all work. This balance. And when we make our play our work, it's another challenge. Life can be just challenge after challenge after challenge. So I have really focused on challenge in this world bridger. So the blue hand, my relationship with myself, with aspects of myself, where are they not forming complementary, mutually beneficial relationships? And where am I just focusing? There was a lovely little clip I saw yesterday where this woman just reiterated the point. She said, I'm going to let you look at an image for 3 seconds. Take note of 3 blue things you see. And there were about 5 of them in the image, I think. I proudly noticed 4 and expectation. Create expectations. We should really speak about expectation. Expectation is the first step in manifestation. So important, such an important thing, expectation. I expected her to say, like, how many of those things do you now recall? And then she said, yeah, you whatever, blah, blah, but did you see the yellow object? And she said you didn't, because your mind was totally focused. You followed an instruction, and it executed the instruction, blue objects, and it completely did not notice. There was a yellow. I asked myself, was there even a yellow there? Yes, there was. And it's like, case in point, we can focus on things completely to the absence of something else, and we will not know it. We will not know it. If she had mentioned it, it would have never occurred to me. But she mentioned it, and therein lies the importance of our social. Oh, yeah, good morning. Therein lies the importance of our social interactions, because we need to talk about ourselves and our perspectives so that someone else can say, that is tunnel vision. You are not seeing the bigger picture for whatever reason. So it's not a fault in the system that we have this kind of ability to go total tunnel vision. But when we don't know, when it bites us in the buttocks, we need someone else to tell us that. Which is why echo chambering, like what I'm doing here, has its limitations. So it is good to be duly self-sufficient. It is good to have a efficient analysis mode. But even Dolores doesn't take herself into analysis mode. She needs, what's his name? Albert? Arthur? Something with an A. And do I want to binge Westworld right now? Yes. And there is again this part of my mind that is, I'm addicted to the dopamine I get from thinking and mental stimulation. And when that's out of balance, sooner or later it's like, all right, who else do we have today? We are guided by ourselves. We're guided by the warrior. Release, surrender. The body, the serpent, life force is our medicine, instinct. It's very interesting. I talk about this instinct a lot, and when instinct is not updated, the challenge to the wave spell of the serpent is the world bridger, this lunar tone, and the antipode to the serpent is the eagle, and the eagle and the world bridger are each other's medicine. So I'm not going to go deep into analysis mode right now, because there's a block there somewhere. I see a tunnel, but I see a gate. I need to explore that relationship, and we're going to explore that in the wave spell of the red serpent when it comes. I'm just saying that is really, really a key feature here. And the warrior in the red serpent wave spell is on tone 12. So it's somehow the collective cooperation, universalizing instincts are, it all makes sense. So, but every now and then we need to question those instincts. We need the warrior to work together with the eagle on tone 11 in the serpent wave spell, with the world bridger as the medicine, as the occult, who is also the lunar tone in the wave spell, right, of the serpent, to update our instincts, or like addictions. If we can get addicted to dopamine, and especially today, that's such a big topic, we need something that automatically, if we can't override it, how do we deal with that? On the other hand, we're in a shift, we're in a quantum, I think humanity is in a quantum shift. And they are extremely difficult, especially to do them consciously. These dopamine addictions and the things that they're stopping us from doing, the things we're going to have to build a new world because we can't go back. They're trying now in several places to install prohibitions children and cell phone uses, making laws about that, because it's changing our brains, it's changing us. The question is, and this has to be discussed through the Yellow Warrior, and we have to discuss it together, the Crystal Warrior, from the perspective of the old world. These changes are threatening because they're changing the world. They're making the world we have come through and known kind of sort of fall apart. But is that a problem, or is that as it should be? Are we in a tunnel to something new? And we have to unfortunately let it run. Yes, it's going to cause collateral. It always does. But damage. But is that the passage, the birth canal to something very, very different? Something that none of us here can quite. That's not true. Many of us can quite, but many, many more of us cannot see it. So are we trying to step on the brakes in a process that is a birthing process? You cannot step on the brakes on it. I mean, you can try, but by that you'll make it worse. So we'll have to wait and see. Oh man, yeah. And for those things, again, we always need the collective perspective. It makes absolutely no sense to have monarchs like presidents, like dictators, like single people or single groups of a singular mindset to make decisions across that affect more than themselves. There's something deeply not right about that. Democracy, the idea of it is that representatives from each field come together, discuss, and reach a conclusion that serves everyone or at least hurts no one. That's the idea of it. And we have to apply this within ourselves. Inner democracy is very important, but when you have an inner child that is not understanding the world, that says, I just want to eat sweets all day long, then someone has to overrule that. I had a beautiful situation yesterday. This child, my cousin's son, he turned 11. It was 10 minutes before the place where we were, the restaurant, closed. And everybody had already left. He wanted to leave. Some of us were, not everybody had left, most people had. Some of us were there like, oh, we're going to sit out these last 10 minutes because it's just so nice. My one cousin was still drinking tea and we were just having a nice time. And this child was piping all the time he wants to leave. And what was he saying just before they eventually did leave? He came and he questioned, he said to his mom, why is it when you tell me it's time to go, I'm not allowed to dilly-dally, it's time to go, I need to get ready and then we go. But now, when we're all saying it's time to go, you get to dilly-dally and we have to wait and be patient. When I dilly-dally, you don't wait and be patient. I was like, yep. I said to him, you know what? I tell you the answer. Who are you talking to? This is your mother. Who are you? You're the child. And that means end of discussion. It's that simple. You can ask this question. You don't have a right here. As long as you are how old, you don't get to. And whether that's right or wrong, that is just not democracy. And at what point does a child get a right? Right? Where should they and where should they not? And I see in the Western world a lot of parents are very confused about that, giving their children rights to decision making way too early, and in other places not where they should have it. And the result is a lot of adults are very confused about the yellow human that they are. What can they influence and what can't they? What should they and what shouldn't they? And when as a child you've been able to influence certain things, as an adult you can't anymore, or you shouldn't because it's tiresome. I learned to influence people's moods instead of letting them deal with them, and not myself being afraid of the repercussions of their impatience and how they get when they can't cope with themselves. As when I was a kid, that was horrific, and it was really like not, the option to control someone's mood. And a lot of children, when they go into fawning mode, appeasing the parent so that the parent stays in a slightly or drastically better mood. It's a way to control the situation, but it's pretty desperate, and it stops their own development. And plus it establishes patterns that as an adult, when this is how I go into social interactions, automatically, not knowingly, automatically changing the field, being always on the lookout. We call that being an empath, but it's just like it's often a problem. I mean, being a balanced empath has the ability to read the room and not be affected by it, or still be able to control their own frequency and to decide what to control and what not. This kind of pathological, I'm going to automatically always control the field or try to, it siphons off so much life resources, life force, red serpent. You can't question, your mind, it interferes with our intelligence. That's the yellow warrior, intelligence, fearlessly questioning intelligence. It's very linked to the body. The body has its own intelligence and needs to be left to do that. If we're interfering all the time, or even some of the time, we don't know what we're doing. Even taking food supplements. If we do that from the head, someone says, yeah, you should take omega-3 because that's what they say. And then we just do it. We don't understand if our body has enough naturally and we're giving it too much, or we're interfering with the natural process, or the instinct that the body says, I actually need something and I'm going to tell you what to eat to get it. And I'm going to do that through your appetite. And if you have no balance in eating, you can't listen to appetite either. But the whole system works really well. Look at a pregnant woman. Yeah, it needs to be sour gherkins a lot of the time. Why? Whatever the child needs, it's a natural, it's just natural. It's beautiful. It's easy. So what does that mean for us as humans? What does it mean to be human? And we're drastically changing the paradigms and the parameters for that. Not everywhere, not universally yet, but it is going to affect everyone in time. Hopefully for the better. I believe that. We're evolving. Of course we are evolving, and evolution shows us. It's a beautiful thing. Every now and then we get wiped clean and something altogether new starts. But we are still here because we are the ocean. Anyway, so Blue Night, abundance in the analog position, and World Bridger in the antipod position. And the Blue Night is we're meeting the Blue Night in 7 days on the overtone tone of the Blue Storm wave spell. It is the center, the heart of the Blue Storm wave spell. Not the center in terms of the center of 13 is 7, but the center in terms of, what would that be called? The program. It's the core element of the program, the time pulsar, transformation, liberation, freedom, and the abundance, dream time is a core element, intuition. And then we have the blue hand on solar tone, giving us another opportunity to hopefully to revisit the challenges on this wave spell. For me at least, that's kind of like I'm placing it in there. I'm talking to my own solar wizard in this wave spell, whose occult medicine is the blue hand. So the solar blue hand, it can't be solar. Yes, it can. The solar blue hand is my link to the solar wizard. And I'm just making that connection for myself. I'm setting it up so that by the time I get there, when I enter the room, these things are in the room. I don't have to remember it until I get there. I'm just placing it into my sphere of intention to have it be an element in some way. And then we are transcending in the blue monkey. The inner child, magic, illusion. You know, one way to look at this illusion, because to me I sometimes get a bit frustrated with our definitions of reality versus illusion. On some certain levels of life or living or understanding or whatever, yeah, there are very definite definitions for either of those. On another level, I can look, everything is Maya, illusion. The whole world, everything we're living in is an illusion, is illusion. And it's not meant as an illusion as in, you're like wrong, you're wrong, there's an illusion. What can I say? You can't measure that Maya really along the other level. It's like the difference between classical physics and quantum physics. The same laws do not apply. But to have the ability, like a child, to play in this world, to have a really understanding of what is illusion and what is real, and to play with these illusions. The way I imagine you listening to this is totally illusion. I have no idea who's listening. I don't know how you're listening. I don't know what you're hearing me say. I don't know anything. I don't particularly think about it, but if I meet a person and I assume that they see me this way, maybe they like me, maybe they don't, and I happen to know a magnetic monkey, like if ever I want to learn anything about how to see the world in illusion, I cannot understand how she sees the world, because to her what is totally in illusion to me is completely real to her. And to me it is bordering on problematic. But time will tell whether it's genius, whether she is really attracting. What is she attracting? Blue monkey, not blue monkey, but she's magnetic. Anyway, we're going into the transcendental monkey in the next wave spell. So liberating the inner child, liberating ourselves, the inner child as the most authentic aspects of ourselves, which is not the immature inner child, but there is, if we have left some of it behind or it didn't get a chance to grow, it may be an immaturity. A lot of my inner child is immature, and a lot of the adult that is detached from the inner child in my case then, in many of our cases, I can see how she is not always kind with the child. But I'm learning, and it's a very beautiful process. And I went through a very beautiful process in the Blue Monkey Day, I think, even, or White Dog. I can't remember now which one it was. And the next wave spell, we're gonna keep an eye on that. And I'm hoping, this is a note to self. Why is the World Bridger before the Blue Storm in terms of wave spells? Because the process of world bridging has to be understood. I have to be able to let go. I can't now go into the storm, for example, and like be only focused on one thing. If I do my tunnel vision thing, I gotta keep the balance. It's the rhythmic tone of one wave spell would have to always be the cosmic tone of the next wave spell. That is a fixed progression. So I have to understand the rhythm, let go of whatever. It's rhythmic. Everything has a rhythm. Everything in life has a rhythm. The heartbeat, the in-out breath, the seasons, no matter what, everything is rhythmic, day and night. And if I'm overextending, if I'm stretching my daytime, if I'm not sleeping properly, I'm stretching my daytime across 5 days, then I need not be surprised. I can do it now and then. Then I need to sleep for 2 days straight, maybe. And we can't say your rhythm is not have to be the same as mine. It's not a one fits all, but it's to understand what are our own rhythms and to understand they're not always fixed in time. It may be this is the rhythm I need for now. Another time I can live a different rhythm and it will transform and change. And change has its rhythm. And the ability to let go and to let flow, self-existing moon, and the moon in the blue storm wave spell, the red moon is the antipod, so we're meeting it in tone 11. The liberator, the dissolver, the cleanser, the freedom, whatever, freedom to freedom, liberate the storm. Can I have those 3 words of the... Dissolve, release, liberate. Yeah, that's very world bridger, to release, surrender, opportunity. So that will be the moon in the next wave spell. Release so it can be cleansed. Since the moon here is self-existing, we have hopefully learned that the cleansing, clearing process is automatic. The storm itself represents auto-generation. And I'm doing a foreshadowing. I'm doing this on purpose because it's really important. It's self-generation. It's sometimes called auto, sometimes self. And there's a difference. But both are really applicable. Our systems are self-generating. Life is self-generating. And catalyze energy. So, I think I weaved it together, and the storm has the sun as its analog, and the sun lunar, the storm's wave spell is very similar to the sun's wave spell, in that one of its kins, it's like for the sun, the dragon is occult, and it's the challenge, it's the lunar tone. For the storm, the sun is analog, but it's also the challenge, lunar. And then the wind is its occult, and it's tone 3 in the... No, it's tone 1, 2, 3, 4 Okay, we get there, when we get there. Self-existing wind. It's good to remember that the truth in this wave spell, the order, the cosmic mirror, the true reflection, it needs to be listened to. It's guided by the wind. We need to understand how to reflect, how to self-reflect. How does this illusion of Maya work as a reflective agency or whatever? And how do we play in it? That the storm will teach us, and the wind, which will be self-existing in the storm, as well as the occult medicine. It's nice to work with that, to let that. And I need to surrender this podcast now. They're eternally too long all the time, I think. Get my balances right here. And I want to leave us and wish us a beautiful Spectral Warrior day. I've somehow kicked myself out of some mode. Words aren't coming. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet and wish us a beautiful day. I'm feeling a little bit of separation anxiety. Total illusion. Separating from what? Oh God. Yeah. What am I not wanting? What am I wanting to avoid? Yeah. Questioning can be very good, but too much of it is not good. Tatjana, where is the balance? Go play. Okay. Oh.